Okay, so what we're doing this time is plotting linear lines. Now linear just means equations that have just an x in it. So you've got different levels. So linear lines will always be straight lines. The next one's up are quadratics and things like that, but we don't need to deal with them yet. So these ones here for EG1 are classed as the easiest lines that you should be able to plot. And the reason why they say they're easiest is because they don't need a table of values, okay? On the next slide, I'll show you what I mean by a table of values, but for now, you don't need to know what they are. So first thing, you've got these axes here. So the one going horizontal, that's called the x-axis, and the height one is called the y-axis. Okay, now this actually helps us quite a lot when we're plotting. So I'm going to start with the x equals 4. So if you can find where x equals 4 on the x-axis, so x equals 4 is here. Okay, so because it's there, now there's different ways of doing it. The way I always learned was that you put across there, and it wouldn't make sense for it to go along here because that's the x-axis. Okay, so it means it would have to go this way. Now all of these lines here are going to be either vertical like this or horizontal straight across. Okay, now if I looked at the coordinates on this line, so for example this one, I'm going 4 across and 1 up. Again, if I look at this point here, I'm going 4 across and 2 up. So all the coordinates on this line will have the x, or the first number in the coordinates, as being 4, okay, which is the x part. Okay, next one. So if we do y equals 2, again, same idea. If we look at the y-axis and find where 2 is, which is here, okay, so it's going to be going across like that. Y equals 2. Okay, you could just remember it like that as well if you wanted. If for someone that just likes rules, x ones will always be vertical and y ones will always be horizontal. Okay, next one, x equals -3. So if we find -3 on the x-axis, that would be here, and then we draw a line vertically. And again for the last one, y equals -1. So we look at the y-axis and find where -1 is, which is here, and then draw a lovely straight line going across. Okay, so they're classed as the easiest ones. Not that I don't know if I agree with that, but hey ho. Okay, so the next slide are the next level of linear lines. So I've got my axes here. I'm going to come to that right at the end. So these are my 3 equations. So we're going to start with this one here. So y equals x plus 2. This part here, this table, is called a table of values. Okay, and that just means that we're going to pick values of x to put into here so that we can then work out what y is. Okay, just think of it like a rule. So if we start with the first one, here, this is telling me that x is 0. Okay, so if I replace this x with the number 0, so 0 add 2, I'll type it here. Okay, and then work that out. So 0 add 2 is just 2. That's telling me what the y will be. Okay, then we do it again. Now we know that x is 1, so we're going to do 1 add 2, because that's what the rule says. Whatever x is, we add 2 to it. That gives me 3. And I put that in. Next one, 2 add 2, 4, and again, now x is 3, 3 add 2, 5. Okay, now this table is giving me coordinates. So the first coordinate will be 0 and 2, which I can then plot. So when you're plotting coordinates, the first one is telling you whether to go left or right. So because it's 0, it's telling me to go nowhere. And then 2 for the second part means 2 up. So it's going to be there. The next one is 1 and 3. So that's telling me I've got to go 1 to the right and 3 up. Next one, 2 and 4. And the last one, 3 and 5. Okay, now the last coordinate I can't fit on the graph, but actually as long as you've got 3, you'll be absolutely fine. Okay, and make sure that when you're doing the lines, don't just draw a line through the points that you've just plotted, you go across the whole graph. Okay, the next one then. Again, we have the same numbers in the table, so we're going to start with 0. Now, this number in front of the x just means that we multiply them together. Okay, so we're going to do 2 times whatever x is, which we know is 0 to start off with. And then whatever that is, we subtract 3 from it. So 2 multiplied by 0 is 0, subtract 3 would just be -3. Okay, then we're putting 1 in. 2 multiplied by 1, subtract 3. 2 multiplied by 1 is 2, 2 subtract 3 is -1. Okay, now you should notice a pattern. If we do one more, and then you'll see the pattern really clearly. So again, x is now 2, so 2 times 2, subtract 3, so that'll be 1. Each time we're going up by the same amount, so we're going up by 2 there, up by 2 there, so that means we'll go up 2 there for the last one. Okay, and then we've got our coordinates, so 0, -3, 1, -1, 2 and 1, 3 and 3, so we plot them. 0, -3, so 0 and then 3 down. Next one, 1, -1, so 1 to the right and 1 down. Next one, 2, 1, so 2 to the right and 1 up. And the last one, 3 and 3. And we draw our lines. Okay. The last one, they sometimes add these ones in to be a little bit cruel, but actually they're not as hard as they look. Okay, so all we're doing again is replacing the x with whatever numbers are here. So the first one, x is 0. So all we're going to do is do 4 take away 0, which is 4. Next one, x is now 1, so it'll be 4 take away 1, which is 3. Okay, and you just keep going. And you get 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, now you don't need to keep writing the coordinates. If you just know that those two go together and those two go together, then that's good. If you want to write them out, you can. And then we can plot them. So 0, 4 is right at the top. 1 and 3. 2 and 2. 3 and 1. Like that. Okay, so that's all you need to know about using table of values to work out how to plot linear lines.